Hi, Dr. Bo. Mick Spartalis with you today. As you'll see, video recordings aren't my forte, but I'll do my best to get my point across for you. When I started this unit, I expected to definitely expected to deepen my knowledge of operational frameworks, but I didn't anticipate how practically applicable the learning would be to my work at Rio Tinto, especially in the dynamic environment of port operations. In this presentation, I'll talk about 5 key lessons I learned, how I applied them in real time to a non-digital improvement plan, and how these lessons will continue to shape the way I lead and manage. The most valuable part of this journey was realising that operational excellence is less about technical fixes and more about behavioural change, structured approaches and inclusive leadership. As someone responsible for maintaining reliability in a high volume, logistics driven environment, I found that the frameworks from this unit offered both clarity and directional for real world challenges. I'm pleased to report that this knowledge has already begun to positively influence my management approach. Now, of course, a lot of these things are already in place and I had knowledge of, but through this unit, I've definitely sharpen my experience and can see a lot more why things happen and how I'm able to influence their improvement. Initially, I expected to learn about high-level process improvement strategies, which what I discovered was how critical it is to tailor them to specific operational context. In my report, I focused on logistics and procurement at RTIO, port operations, which supports our export supply chain. I imagine 3 major issues: inconsistent supply coordination, poor material quality, and weak supplier collaboration. I had assumed that digitalisation would be the only answer to solving these challenges. Instead, I found that non-digital approaches using lean, total quality management, TQM, Kaizen and Six Sigma offer just as much, if not more, practical value. The key was in their ability to shape behaviour, standardise work and build trust. Applying these tools, which some are already in place, just refining my outlook and how we're utilising them, helped me design a cost-effective, people-driven improvement plan. This shifted my thinking from tech-first solutions to process-first thinking. Somehow that's now become it's a core part of how I approach operational problems. One of the first things I expected to learn was how to conduct root cause analysis for operational failures. Again, something that I've been exposed to prior, but just now have a better understanding. What I learned instead was much deeper. The importance of system thinking and viewing operations as an interconnected whole. At Rio Tinto Iron Ore, supply chain issues are often viewed in isolation. Delays, defects or inventory mismatches are treated as independent events. But using the models and methods from this unit, I realised they're symptoms of larger systematic misalignments. By mapping the supply chain and using stakeholder analysis, I found behaviour-driven issues such as misaligned KPIs and communication gaps between compartments. This encouraged me to look beyond processes and address the behaviours that reinforce inefficiencies. As a result, I now spend more time identifying interdependencies between teams and suppliers instead of simply addressing symptoms. It's a change in mindset that's already shaped how I lead cross-functional meetings and improvement workshops within our department at the port, as well as others, people I liaise with as such. I expected to learn about lean as a manufacturing tool. That's where I've mostly seen and heard it over the years, but what I actually gained was a deeper understanding of how lean and Kaizen principles can build team ownership and streamline flow, especially in logistics heavy environments like Rio Tinto ports. By applying these tools like value stream mapping and 5S, I was able to visualise bottlenecks and reduce non-value adding tasks. Kaizen taught me that involving frontline teams in daily improvement activities builds not just better systems, but a stronger engagement, I should say. I introduced short structured team huddles just after pre-starts, things like that, where small changes like Clear labelling or better kit layouts made a big difference. These tools didn't require software, only discipline and leadership. This experience has reshaped how I view management. That's definitely for sure. My role now includes coaching teams to improve what they control daily. I've come to appreciate that small, consistent changes, when embedded into the daily routines, can lead to long-term operational resilience and cultural growth. Trying to throw everything too much at once, obviously, it doesn't get as well received and just puts people under undue pressure. Going into this unit, I expected to learn about quality as a technical process, but I learned something far more valuable, that quality must be everyone's responsibility. Total quality management showed me how to create systems that support quality from procurement through to our operations. In Rio Tinto's port environment, where equipment uptime is essential and consumables must be dependable, quality failures can halt production, as well as make shuts and that sort of stuff run over, which is any hours kept means money and safety. I developed a supplier quality scorecard approach. So I developed it. There's one basic one in place. I just refined it. Something said, yeah, it was outdated and something that needed attention. Something we began trialling, so teams can track vendor performance using metrics like on-time delivery, defect rates and responsiveness. This has started building a shared language between internal stakeholders and suppliers. I now understand that quality should be preventative, not reactive, and more importantly, that cultivating a culture where teams feel ownership over outcomes rather than relying on the after-the-fact inspections is central to long-term performance. TQM has shifted me to focus more on consistency, clarity, and collaboration more than I had before. TQM isn't a common one in our workplace, so it was a good thing to learn for a fresh set of eyes. I also thought Six Sigma would be too analytical for practical use in field operations, but I was mistaken. This unit taught me that structured problem solving using Six Sigma can bring clarity and precision, especially in high cost areas like equipment procurement, which I've had a lot of exposure to. In developing my report, I used tools like DMake framework and failure mode and effects analysis, FMEA. To identify where material failures are incorrect specifications were causing downtime. This is a lot of our machines, high risk stuff. They're continually getting orders, the wrong, which obviously extends the crane utilisation, being out of utilisation, cranes, stuff like that, and essentially costs money, extra money to the business through hire and whatnot. At Rio, I've started applying this thinking, collaborating with colleagues to better control inputs for the key operational equipment, such as conveyor parts and maintenance consumables. By working with suppliers to agree on a tighter specifications and inspection protocols, these conversations led to definitely measurable improvements already in a short time. I now see Six Sigma not just as a statistic tool, but as a way to stabilise performance. It's also influenced how I coach my team, encourage them to make data-informed decisions rather than relying on gut instinct and short-term fixes. So, yeah, again, Six Sigma using it. It's not a formal thing as yet, but definitely something I'll be pushing because, yeah, handy, definitely handy. One thing I hope to learn in this unit was how to choose the right improvement method. What I gained was even more valuable, an understanding of how to combine all of them. Every method, Lean, Kaizen, TQM and Six Sigma, offers different strengths. Lean improves flow, Kaizen builds engagement, TQM standardised quality, and Six Sigma ensures control. At Rio, especially in the port environment where operations run 24/7, no single method solves everything. I refined and improved an outdated integrated improvement roadmap, starting with Kaizen to foster team buy-in, followed by Lean to streamline workflows, and then embedded TQM practices, and finally introduced Six Sigma for high risk areas. As I said, a minimal level at the moment, baby steps. This layering approach has helped create momentum and reduce resistance to change. In practice, it's taught me to build strategies around people first, because without cultural readiness, even the best tools will fail. This holistic integration is something I will now bring to every improvement initiative that I lead or have exposure to, that's for sure. This unit reshaped my outlook on to management practice entirely. Before, I leaned toward top-down problem solving, assuming that leadership meant having the answers. Now I'm more shifting towards facilitation, aiming at empowering those closer to the work to identify and act on improvement opportunities. At Rio Tinto, I've changed how I approach our logistics and procurement teams, even though I'm not directly on the coalface there. It's well received. I've suggested visual management boards, daily team reviews and cross-functional workshops. It was what I also have been pushing in our department. Well, less reactive, more structured and better aligned. Culturally, I now prioritise open communication, continuous learning and collaborative planning with our suppliers. Importantly, I've realised that significant operational gains can be achieved without digital tools by standardising work, empowering people and aligning behaviours. These insights have made me more focused, empathetic and strategic in how I manage. I no longer look for quick fixes. Instead, I look for sustainable changes rooted in shared accountability and daily practice. This is probably the most long-term lesson this unit has provided me. Applying these lessons to my thinking at Rio Tinto's port operations have been incredibly rewarding. I've recommended Kaizen-inspired workshops with our logistics and supply teams, targeting small but chronic inefficiencies like equipment staging delays or missing inventory items. By involving these team members in diagnosing and solving problems, we built greater ownership and reduced delays. It's still lots of way to go, but it's definitely showing a change already. Things that we already have in place, and just refining and making them that much better. Additionally, I've suggested using visual boards in our operations section to monitor progress and align daily priorities. These changes didn't require expensive technology, just time, trust and structured effort. It reinforced that what this unit has taught me, that operational excellence stems from discipline, engagement and aligned behaviours. And I'm sure the aligned behaviours, part of that is probably the constraints at times, the bigger ones. The progress they've made in a short time confirms the value of what I've learned, and now I'm working to replicate these practices across other areas of the business. Reflecting on this unit, I realise I've not only learned about operational improvement frameworks, I've also grown as a leader. I've learned that management is less about control and more about creating the conditions of people to succeed. I now see culture as the foundation of operational performance. Tools matter, of course, but without the right mindset and behaviours, they won't work. This unit gave me a deep appreciation for structure, participation and practical change. It helped me resolve existing challenges in port operations and gave me the confidence to lead more strategic, high-impact initiatives. Most importantly, I've learned to approach problems holistically to involve people in shaping solutions and to deliver improvements that last. I feel far more equipped to manage these complex operations in the future. And also, although I've crossed over a lot of this already, it's definitely made me understand better and definitely be better at it, that's for sure. Thanks for watching, Mo, and I hope this shared experience encourages others to embed these principles into their own workplaces. Cheers.